When you look back at your old art, what do you notice first? I'd say that it would most likely be something like the wobbly line art, the inaccurate proportions, or even, perhaps, the unbalanced colors. As you spend more years as an artist, you gain more of an eye for noticing these sorts of things. However, this particular time around, something else started to happen. I start to notice a slightly concerning pattern. I start to scroll faster, practically begging to find an exception to this newfound rule. Suddenly, I hit the end of the old art I saved, and I have to expect it. They're all looking at you. Okay, Rose, that's a kind of cool anecdote or whatever. What are you gonna do about it, though? Good question, actually. If I notice that I keep drawing people in the same profile over and over, I feel as though the logical next step would be to try to draw different perspectives that I don't draw all too often. And so, from this point on, from Wednesday till... Hi, I'm Rose, also known as Day by Day Creates on YouTube, and from today, Friday, May 30th, until next week, 7 days from now, I am going to break this pattern and prove I'm not just one perspective. Friday, May 30th. On the first day of the challenge, I got lucky with how much time I had to draw that day. It was a Friday, which means that it was a school day. However, most other people in my classes were on a senior field trip that I wasn't too interested in, so I pretty much had the whole day to myself. Good thing I did, because this drawing took me 3 whole hours. Honestly, it wasn't even the pose that got me caught up this time, it was the line art. I mean, it was as challenging as it usually was, still being one of my least favorite parts of drawing, but drawing 2 characters probably made it take way longer than usual. It felt normal, except it was taking longer, so I can only assume it was that. Speaking of lines, I tried a new line art coloring style this time. It's less colors based and almost more lighting based in a way. Like how you can see the red ones come from the sun and the blue ones, I don't even know. It looks cool, I like it. Also, for what the drawing's about, the drawing depicts my magical girl OCs Penelope and Juliet. In my mind, Penelope is offering some sort of opportunity and Juliet is afraid of taking that sort of risk, even if it could be real good for her. Will she take a chance? I mean, yeah, that's a whole part of her character development and the reason her design changes so heavily sometime into the story. Next drawing, Saturday, May 31st. Guys, breaking patterns is hard. I know I was talking all that about perspectives just a day ago, but really, the only real criteria I set for myself was just don't do the thing I always do where the only thing I could draw is a character looking at the camera. With this, I found a bit of a loophole, but I'm not gonna pull this trick again after this. This is Rue. She's also part of the magical girl story, and she's Penelope's childhood friend. If you're curious on what that loophole is I mentioned earlier, she's like facing the camera pretty directly, but her eyes are closed, so technically, she's not looking at the camera. Contrary to popular belief, I did try something different this time, since I don't usually do close-ups like this. I don't exactly know what Rue's doing in this image. She has her gaming headphones on, but she's not holding the controller at all, and is instead posing for the camera. Perhaps she is just starting a stream, since she is in fact a gaming streamer. That was fun, but I don't want to talk for too much longer, because the time-lapse is only barely an hour long. Sunday, June 1st. Happy Pride Month! On this first day of June, and third day of this very challenge, I got hit with a wave of inspiration. Drawing every day is cool because you get both the benefits of getting yourself into the habit of doing something every day, and whenever inspiration strikes, you're not just inspired, you're like double inspired. So anyways, in this one, I was playing hit mobile game Project Sekai and or Hatsune Miku Colorful Stage, depending on who you ask, and I was just going through some of the songs to play, and saw the cover of this song called Living Millennium. I was like, oh my god, that kind of reminds me of the old Rosemary designs. Rosemary is my longest standing character, and she's had a lot of old ones, and the old ones, because they're so old, I haven't drawn them in so long, let's draw them again. And plus, combining the two would be real fun to draw, that's for sure. You know what's funny? With all my new updated knowledge on character design and stuff, I actually really like this new old design. Obviously some things don't completely match, but like after so long of not liking it and moving on, trying to move on, you know, I think it's because of all the gold accents I spontaneously decided to add. It gives a good contrast with the dress. So honestly, I was thinking about doing like character mitosis, where I split them into 2 characters, where one's the modern character and the other one's like the pretty little princess that was the old design. And it would be fun. Honestly, it's kind of funny because they'd probably be inhabiting the same story, which is interesting when I think about the implications of that. Monday, June 2nd. Look, I know it's a straight on perspective again, boo! But put the pitchforks down. I drew this on a Monday. Oh yeah, okay, we understand now, Rose. Okay, I get it. Will I sound stupid if I say that I didn't realize it was facing forward perspective until I'm scripting this right now? Because the idea was that Noelle over here, that's her name, is like burying her face into her plushie in some sort of shame, so she's looking down and like closing her eyes, and I guess I was intending to like put the camera more up, but really again, it's just facing towards the camera. Yay! The whole thing was dubiously executed at best, in all honesty, but this video is all part of the daily drawing challenge, and school makes my schedule so much smaller. It did at the time I was drawing this, now it's like kinda over. So they can't all be winners, I suppose. Tuesday, June 3rd. Speaking of winners, despite this video being a challenge where I essentially say none of the characters this week can directly look at the camera in the eyes, I'm actually surprised it took me this long to draw a character that was facing the direct and complete opposite way, the whole 180 degrees. Honestly, it's probably because I heard somewhere once that like having eyes are usually the focal point in a drawing, because like people usually look there. Without it, I guess it's supposedly harder to make people look somewhere, or it's not like a person as a subject anymore, it's more like the thing around the person, I guess. That's my theory. This might be because I'm a big fan of the color blue, but I'm also a big fan of the monochromatic color palette. Also, yes, I drew Juliet twice in the same video, and I drew Juliet again. What about it? I'm making a Google slide for drawing every day do-over 1 to 100, and Juliet may or may not be the subject of about like 1/10 of the drawings. We don't know for sure. The video's not out yet. Ooh, she's on a balcony, looking out over the city landscape. Ooh, shooting star. Fun fact, this took about exactly 1 class period to finish. I mean, I guess if we don't count like the 20 minutes in the morning when I was waiting for period 1 to start, but I finished the drawing, look at the time, and suddenly, the period's over. Fun! Wednesday, June 4th. Now, this drawing's got a little more story to it. I was working on a little project they will elaborate on in a few weeks or so, and it gave me the idea to make this drawing about it. I just think that it's fun despite being on the same ghost hunting sort of team. Finn and Celine, that's their names, have such different responses to even the possibility of a ghost being in the room. And if you're curious on why Celine is willingly joined a ghost hunter group while being scared of ghosts, she basically feels like she owes him a favor. Why? I was going to say stay tuned to find out, but 1, there is nothing to find out or read about, and 2, I don't know because I didn't write that yet, and if I did, I would just put it in the video the normal way. So if I figure this out this week while editing when I'm writing out art fight profiles, I will be a little bit embarrassed. But yeah, I have no clue how she's gonna record Ghost with shaky hands. Doing line art on this drawing felt especially long and difficult for some reason. I don't really know why. Actually, I get it, because it happened the last time I drew 2 characters. It's because I drew 2 characters. I don't know why I keep being confused why line art takes longer when there's more characters to line, but I guess it felt a little harder to get the motivation out of me. But eventually I got through it and colored it. Whatever. Thursday, June 5th. I like the drawing from June 5th. It's Evelyn, doing a sort of Tears of the Kingdom Zelda from the first cutscene sort of thing. She's even in a cave with greystones though. I like the way that the flames on the torch look. Fun fact about that, the way I colored it was based on how I colored a flame from this coloring sheet we did in the class one of the days. One time that week, I think it was that week, we just had a coloring sheet in one of our classes, and it was awesome. I need to draw Evelyn more, man. She's so cool. TLDR about her story. She was someone admirable who did something good for humanity, I guess. So, she was offered immortality. However, when she woke up, every possible climate disaster that could have possibly happened did so at the same time, wiping humanity, let's just say, off the map. I'm not sure if this drawing takes place before or after that last event I mentioned, but given the fact that she has the same design as all her other drawings, I'm just gonna say after. This speed paint in particular says that I've been drawing for 6 hours because I accidentally left my computer and therefore I was paint on during school. I don't know how that even happened. I usually vigilantly check these sort of things to make sure that it doesn't happen. I think that like a lunch period ended sooner than I expected, and I just had to close it up and reopen it later, but I never reopened it, you know? So I had to charge it when I got home and quickly finish the drawing up. So that's why it looks a slight bit unpolished. In reality, this drawing took around 2 hours or so, I'd say. I just wanted to get a minimum of the colors done, which I mean, technically I did. But one day I might go back and make this more polished, because there's no rule against that. I just did that in one day. I really do like the line art after all, and also the idea in general. Friday, June 6th. I originally wasn't going to count this drawing, as this is day 8 of a 7-day challenge. However, as I peer into my crystal ball over here, I see that 1 or 2 of the drawings drawn these past 7 days very loosely, barely fit into the guidelines, which may be seen as controversial. Think of this as a bonus drawing, or a replacement drawing to your least favorite drawing. Whatever you want, it's already baked into the video. This is Irene, the girl who's in a time loop. This one's more of a concept art of sorts. You see, I don't know how to explain it, but in my head, whenever she goes to sleep, she goes to this pocket dimension where she can directly interact with whatever or whoever gave her the time loop. The kind of theme sort of vibe with this one is, how dare Eternal Sugar Cookies Garden from Cookie Run Kingdom steal my vibe? I ask, as I steal Eternal Sugar Cookies Garden's whole entire vibe. If you're not sure what that means, just look at that freaky butterfly with the eyeballs on its antennae. I mean, it is an improvement on my last idea, where it was just an endless field of clovers and these time gear thingies. Those are still there, but there's just also more variety as well, like those thorns and that freaky butterfly. Also, the sky is bright white because web fishing did that, and it absolutely fascinates me and inspired this whole thing, to be honest. Also, send help. I like the idea of making those seas with different hair textures and trying to do something new with different hair textures, but literally drawing Irene's curls takes so long. Help. Honestly, even drawing it as a sketch is fine, but the situation gets ever so slightly stickier when I have to color them. But I'm not about to get rid of it. What am I? Crazy? Actually, I may be crazy, but I'm not stupid. I wouldn't do that to her. That is to say, if anyone has any better ideas on how to draw curls like the reference images I'm inserting into this video right now, let me know. Drawing with no background music really makes you think. And as I was finishing up on that last drawing, I stumbled across a troubling thought. Drawing every day so far has been pretty easy, aside from that one time, as I have been lucky enough to strike a pretty good balance between having enough time to finish every drawing, yet also having the act of creating art feel like an escape of sorts, feeling freeing from the mundane life of constant schoolwork. However, I'm pretty much done with school, which, don't get me wrong, is a really good thing. Yet, I hear whispers from people like me, those who seek to make a living off of their passion, that when your schedule gets free like this, and your sole responsibility becomes producing art for a living full-time, it gets less fun, so to speak. Tunnel visioning on one thing for so long, and not taking care of yourself, can suck the soul out of you, to put it lightly. There's even the possibility of getting burnout so bad, you don't want to pick up a pencil ever again. And what are you to do then? I'll do my best to manage my work-life balance, I promise you that. Yet, from what I hear and what I know, I believe the hard part of the Drawing Everyday Challenge begins now. You know, in this outro I talk all about this hard part beginning, but the day 1 to 100 video is not even out yet. Drawing Everyday Days 1 to 100 video comes out on July 9th, 2025. I have so many videos scheduled, you have no idea.